All right, so tell me something you've learned or put together or thought about during this whole quarantine separation thing.
Uh, I guess I'll take the route of what I've learned. A couple things I've learned is that there's not really much on television to watch, and then two is that I'm really, really bad at giving myself a haircut. But it's probably not what you want to hear. I guess I kind of narrowed it down to three things. One is obviously we want to make it what we've learned here, or experienced at this church, and one of the things that I've learned is that the body, the members, really need each other. I look back when we were apart for whatever a month, and then we were going to have our first Sunday together. And when you get to the parking lot, it's almost like a homecoming. When you see people that you haven't seen in person for any extended period of time, and then this is church family. So I realized that we need each other. And then we did those Zoom classes on Wednesday night, and the first couple of times we did it, all the little kids were saying hello to each other, which is kind of cute. But it tells you that the kids need that interaction as well with their church buddies and their family. So those things, definitely I learned that. And then, even when we're not together after church, us men sometimes we get together and we sit around and talk. We probably ought to have all the problems solved by now if they just give us those 10, 15 minutes after church. I would probably never admit that I like those social interactions, but when you don't have them and you can't have them, you realize these things I've taken for granted as far as the body, I miss those things. So that's one thing I learned. Now, a couple personal things is that during this, I've learned, and again, these are things that I knew that it just really brought to light. One thing is that we live in Rogersville, Alabama, which is a small community, which I've learned that I really like living in a small community during this. I mean, we're not perfect by no means, but when you look at our problems, they seem pretty minute. We have a community that pretty much gets along pretty well. And so, you look at Alabama, maybe sometimes we're viewed as that we may be a little backwards, or I guess more behind the times. And I guess that's maybe construed as an insult, but I kind of think is a positive. I don't mind being, quote, behind the times a little bit. So that's another thing that just really kind of brought to light. And then the last one is more of a personal realization. Again, it's something that I knew, that it's just take for granted. I, like a lot of people, but speaking about myself, I fill my days up with so much time, so many things. We can throw quotes around this to say I'm so busy. And so what happens is that I hide behind being so busy that my family time suffers. So in March, when the corona stopped all these busy things that I have and gave me all kind of time, I could almost say that it's like I stole time. That I used that. Now I had no excuse. We had no excuse that we've been given lots of free time. That now those face-to-face interactions that I didn't have with my family, that's all we got, and that's great. That's been great. The love I have for my kids, the love I have for my wife, has only gotten stronger because now, we're with each other so much, and that's a good thing. I know it's like any family. You get at times you need your separation, but we've been allowed to do those things. I should say we've been allowed. We've always been allowed. I've filled my life with stuff that is not necessarily things that I need. And so from that, what I've learned is that during this quarantine, during this separation, the things that, quote, I'm missing aren't nearly as important as that family time that I get to spend with, or that time I get to spend with my family right now. Things that I thought I was missing, they're not really that important compared to what I've experienced for the last 4 or 5 months with my family. So those are a few things that I've learned. That's what I got.